Hey folks, welcome to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight on the bar, we've got the Diony Port Cask Finish Canadian Rye Whiskey. Stay tuned. Well, hey folks, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and tonight on the bar, we've got ourselves another expression from the Diony Distillery out in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, with the Diony Port Cask Finish Canadian Rye Whiskey. But before we get into the overview of this expression from Diony that they were nice enough to send over the channel, if you have anything from Diony, maybe you got something from out west, you want to pour yourself a dram and drink along with me, please do so. I encourage it. It makes life a heck of a lot better for you guys on the other end, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me, especially when it's a great Canadian rye whiskey. So what do we got here from Diony? We've got a port cask finish whiskey here. Comes in with an ABV stamp of 50% ABV, as all expressions from Diony are. They're non-chill filtered, no color added, just the way we like it. And this one here has got a mash bill of 65% Canadian rye or Alberta rye, 25% Alberta barley, and 10% Alberta oats. So nice mash bill in this one. And it was aged for 43 months in recharred French oak casks and then finished in a port barrel. They don't really disclose any information about how long it was in the port barrel for or where the port barrel came from, but it is good quality port, and we'll get into that as we look at the profile of this one here. So let's take a look at the presentation. I was sent over like a Mickey bottle here from them, but the bigger bottle is quite nice. There is less information on it, and I love the marketing they put on it here. As far as like the small bottles here, it does disclose the fact that it is Canadian rye whiskey, bottled at 50% ABV, and manufactured at Diony Distillery, 100% Canadian grains from Red Deer, Alberta. Gives you the mash bill and says non-chill filtered, no color added, right on the packaging. So I can only assume that the larger bottle does have the same information. And great look and great bottle here. All right, with that, let's get into the pour and take a look at the liquid inside the bottle. Like always, get nice tight cork on these ones here, and we'll get a nice pop. Oh yeah, very nice. Indeed, from the Diony Port Cask Finish Canadian Rye Whiskey. I'll pour myself a nice dram of that. Give it a minute. We'll swirl in the glass there. And we'll go in nice and tight for a close look at that naturally presented liquid. I'm getting a nice deep amber with a little bit of sediment kind of sitting and floating around there, almost like a dusty element to it. A little orange around the edges maybe, but yeah, really nice deep amber hue. Again, it matured for 43 months in recharred French oak casks and then finished in port barrels. You're getting all that excellent color from the rechar and the port barrels in there. Very nice indeed on the color there. We'll move on to the nose now on this expression from Diony with their port cask finished Canadian rye whiskey. So let's see what we can get on the nose of this expression from Diony. It's got a fairly complex nose. At 50%, nothing singeing the nose hairs. Fairly well aged. No ethanol burn in there, but there is some character to it. Right off the get-go, I'm getting some nice sweet creme brulee notes, some burnt caramel. Then there's kind of this dusty kind of, old leather chair or old books in a library kind of aspect to the nose. And then right behind that, I've got some candied oranges, candied apricots, some red berries in there. Maybe a little bit of like light coffee or some bitter chocolate on there too. Yeah, the dusty component's very interesting. Yeah, very neat, very interesting nose, very complex nose. And again, at 50% ABV, nothing too offensive on there that's gonna turn you away or kind of make you twist your head. It's very, very complex and very, very smooth with lots of character to it. All right, with that, let's move into the palate and see if we can get the taste on the Diony Port Cask Finished Canadian Rye Whiskey. So hopefully you get something good in your glass. Hopefully it's from Diony, but let's make sure it's Canadian. So cheers to your health and let's get into it. Right off the get-go, nice mouthfeel to it. Hangs on. Not super oily, but it does hang on to the side of your mouth there. And coating. A little bit chewiness to it. Very nice. I'm going to get into the profile overall of it there. There is a bit of like ethanol, alcohol burn near the end. And I'll get into that as we kind of go through it. But it is apparent, especially when you're processing the processing the tasting notes, processing the sip, and walking yourself through that character of it. So right at the get-go, taste profile, a lot like the nose. I'm getting that sweet vanilla, in there, the creme brulee notes in there. But then it kind of morphs into more of what I would refer to as kind of more like the sherry or the port cask finish aspect of it, where you're getting some raspberry jam, I'm getting some raisins, I'm getting oranges, like candied orange peels again, maraschino cherries, some light coffee notes in there. Gonna go for one more sip here, guys, because I'm talking pretty fast going through this. Raspberry jams, oranges, maraschino cherries in there. Then there's this light coffee note, some bittersweet chocolate in there. Then I get into the spicy cinnamon note, and then that little bit of alcohol, ethanol burn kind of kicks in. There's a tiny bit of black pepper on the end that warms you up, but you get this kind of like, it just almost feels a little bit young, and that's kind of what I'm getting off of it there. The nose feels more aged to it, shows more age to it, I guess I would say. But the palate is kind of more of a younger whiskey in that aspect, that you're getting those ethanol components to it there that I'm just not super fond of. That bit of bitterness in there, it kind of mixes in with that coffee note and that chocolate note, and then into the spicy cinnamon and that black pepper. But there is kind of a bit of an ethanol piece to it there too. All right, with that, let's move into the finish, and I'm gonna wrap things up and give you guys my final thoughts on this expression from Diony. So going for one more sip on the finish here, I'll give you my final thoughts. So finish is a solid medium. I think there's no, it's got a bit of length to it there. Definitely not too short, definitely not too long, very much in the medium range. Port notes are fairly prevalent and present and amplified on the palate, almost to a piece where I would say they're overpowered. I do get a little bit of that vanilla and creme brulee notes at the start, but then right after that, it just punches you with all that port stuff. So again, the candied notes of raspberry jam, candied raisins, maraschino cherries, orange peels, all that kind of stuff, candied orange peels, pardon me. And it really is almost overpowering and overly sweet. Not really what I would find, appealing to a whiskey like this. But if you like that your whiskey is a little bit sweeter on that sweeter side, and you like your port, I think this is one you might want to try out and gravitate towards. For me, it's just not kind of my cup of tea. I do like port cask finished whiskeys. Tomatin 14 is one of my favorite from a Scotch perspective. But again, it's more focused on the distillate and not as prevalent as this particular dram here from this expression from Diony. So with that, we'll move into the value proposition on this. I can't get this in Ontario. I've seen them online. I'm not sure if you can get them in shops or not. I assume you can, but when I check their website right now, you can get a 750 ml bottle of this for $125. And I think if you're into the port cask finish, or you're into port wine and you want to get yourself into whiskey from a Canadian perspective, I think this is good. Diony does do some great stuff, and they do a rum cask finish, and I usually gravitate more towards the rum casks a lot of times, especially in whiskeys. I would actually move more towards this one. I like this one more than their rum cask. I still find it a little bit sweet, but I think that this one here's got some more character to it. I just wish had a little less. I wish the age component of that nose much more matched the age component in the palate, and just kind of worked out that ethanol burn. Maybe a bit more time in the casks. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. So if you like your whiskey a little bit more sweeter, you like port, I think this is the one you might want to try. And I'll put all the information down from Diony. They were nice enough to send this over to the channel for me to take a look at. I'll put their information down in the description below for you guys to go check out, and I encourage you to go over there and check out some great Canadian whiskey from a great Canadian producer. So yeah, with that, guys, that about wraps this up. That's my review of the Diony Distillery's port cask finished Canadian rye whiskey at 50% ABV, naturally presented from Diony Distillery out in Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. As always, it's a mouthful, and I just had a mouthful. And if you like what we're doing here at Seaway Whiskey Wire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below. And hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Seaway Whiskey Wire for more content. And if you guys are still hanging around this long in the video, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Love you guys supporting the channel. Love you guys checking out some great Canadian whiskey, and hopefully you do. I really encourage you guys to go out and try some great Canadian whiskey from some great Canadian distilleries, maybe even some lesser known distilleries. I know Diony's not super known out there, but I'm hoping I'm going to change that, and I really encourage you to go out and try some stuff from them. So yeah, guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up here, finish up my wee dram of this port cask finished whiskey from Diony, and yeah, just keep it on going here. So take care, guys. All the best, and I'll see you around. Bye for now.